Awesome. And we are recording now. So before the event starts, I just want to read our online accessibility statement, which serves as a reminder for the resources available. Your experience here at SNHU is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If you need access due to a disability in order to participate in a future event or activity, please notify our office or the Campus Accessibility Center or the Online Accessibility Center. Now I would like to introduce my colleague, Jason. Jason Whitney is a staff and adjunct professor at SNHU and is currently the Associate Director of the Dorothy S. Rogers Career Development Center. Jason is what I would like to say is an expert in LinkedIn, although he may not agree. Jason teaches students, faculty, and staff on how we can better utilize the systems in LinkedIn, ways to network in this space, and overall highlight our successes to move forward in our careers. We're so excited to have you here with us, Jason, tonight to learn from you, and we welcome you to the session. I'm just going to pass it over to you.
Right.
I'll be monitoring the chat, so if anybody has questions, like I said, please put those in the chat and I will tell Jason because I think he's going to share his screen. So over to you, Jason.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Ali, for the introduction. So give you a quick overview background of my work at SNHU. I'm one of the career advisors in the Career Center, so I work on campus, primarily with those populations in the School of Arts and Sciences. I've been using LinkedIn since 2005. So been on the site, I was an early adopter, and just want to show you how you can use the site, how you can really kind of step up your professional brand, and how to do that with your profile. And then if people, it looks like when Ali asked the question, it looks like we have a lot of threes, like people have a profile, it's pretty standard, and you generally know how to update things. So I'll start with some profile updates and kind of unique features that LinkedIn has added in the last 6 months to a year. And I'll share my screen and we'll take it from there. And again, as Ali gets questions in the chat, or if people just want to ask me questions, please do so. So let's share. All right. So this is my profile on LinkedIn, and we're going to go to the home page here. So, you know, everyone, when you get logged in on your home page, kind of see, I've been scrolling. Been looking at all sorts of good stuff today. So you can see, you know, very much like Facebook or even, you know, other social media sites. But what I want to point your attention to is that, you know, this is where all the news comes in. So basically whatever you follow shows up here in your home feed. So that's going to be important because based on the jobs you pursue, the companies you follow, the people you connect with, as they post new information and new stories and share content, that will populate in your homepage with your profile. So I guess the first thing is that LinkedIn really can help you maximize your reach and expand your network. So if you have a profile and maybe you have 20 connections or 200 connections, but you don't really use the site, meaning you're not on it every day, you're not searching for jobs, you're not what I call like, commenting, or sharing. So these are three really important aspects of LinkedIn. So the more active you are on the site, the more your profile will rise in search results. Also, the more complete your profile is, the more it will rise in search results. So it's not enough just to have a standard profile and to poke around on the site once in a while. So to really get the most out of LinkedIn as a networking platform and as a job search tool, you need to use the site frequently, preferably every day if you can. So let's start with the profile. So I'm going to show you my profile because I can show you where some of the features are and some of the editing functions are. So for all of you, your profile, you know, we all have the same functions. The edit tool is like a little pencil. So in your intro section, you can actually edit everything in here. Let me just go back. So if you click in, so your picture, put something back here, just a picture's worth 1,000 words. So it's personal branding. I like to hike. I love the outdoors. I have a big interest in the environment and sustainability. So I took that photo on a hike. That's what I put back there. If you like the Patriots, if you like professional soccer, If you like cats, whatever you want to do. And it really, the site is different now than it was even 5 years ago. It's much more a social media site and a much more visual affair than it used to be. So put something here that kind of speaks to you. Don't let it be this default design that LinkedIn gives you. Show a little bit of your personality back here with your background photo. Next thing when you click in the intro is your headshot. So all the research that's out there is people like to hire people who look approachable, who are smiling, who have a professional headshot. Now, again, there's no standard rule, but if you are smiling and you look approachable, that's going to help you stand out. I've worked with some student athletes and I love them, but sometimes they put in that picture, where they look like this and they want to kill somebody and they don't smile. And that little, it might seem funny, but people want to see approachable people. So find a picture that you like, go talk to a friend, have someone take a picture outside. Don't do a selfie. Have somebody take a nice photo of you. And when they say headshot, they mean pretty much like chest or neck up. If we can see your whole body and your feet, you're too far away. So when they say headshot, they want to see your face. So you put in your name and then your headline. So this is a piece of branding that is immediate. So when people search, they see three things. When you show up in search results, they see your photo, they see your title, your job title, and your headline. So your headline is really the first piece of professional branding in your profile. You could put anything you want. So as Ali said, I'm an associate director of the Career Center. That could mean a lot of things to a lot of people. I like, I'm a career coach. I help people explore their options, kind of find out what they want to do. And that's like my primary job. I'm also a teacher, as Ali said, and I've been playing guitar for 25 years. So that's a little bit about me, and that's what I want to put out there. You could put, marketing student, aspiring social media professional seeking summer 21 internship. That's a great headline because right away you can see what your major is, some interests you have, and hey, I'm looking for an internship. So your headline is a really important piece of content to leverage right away. If you're a student, if we have any students here on the call, and it just says student at Southern New Hampshire University, that's the default. That's LinkedIn's generic default because you didn't put anything in the headline. So take advantage of this. I think it's like 140 characters. You don't want to have 6 lines of content, but you can, expand and put a couple of good things in here to talk about your interests, maybe a strength, and what you're looking for. So this is a really important piece of professional branding, your headline.
Jay, I just have a quick question. Hold on, let me find it. Sorry. Do you recommend a personality picture better than a professional interest / expertise picture?
Great question. It depends on the industry. So if you're going for something that's more about working with people, or you're a photographer, or you work outside a whole lot, like if you're an environmentalist or whatever it is, you can have a picture of you out in the woods in your parka, like looking fun and having a great time. But for most office jobs, I think having a professional headshot is the way to go. And again, my photo, please don't use mine as a guide. I don't really have a great smile. It's kind of goofy. But you can search, and I'm sure there's tons of your friends who are on LinkedIn, and you could see, oh, that's a great picture. So again, it really does make a difference. I'll show you one of my former students in a minute, and I'll give you an example of what not to do. So you have your current position. So whatever your job is, put it in there. One of the things that helps make your profile be complete on LinkedIn is a current job. So LinkedIn's kind of, algorithm doesn't read your profile as complete if you lack a current job, if you have less than 5 skills. So these are things that you need to kind of fill out. Well, Jay, I work as a waitress. Fine, that's your job. That's your current position. A lot of great transferable skills there. Don't sell yourself short. So have a current job in here. Your education, search for your school. Now, LinkedIn really likes folks to put in a location. So let's say you go to school in New Hampshire, you live in New Hampshire, but you want to work in Boston. You could put Boston. So pick the location. It's not necessarily where you are, but where you want to be. So pick a location, and then your industry. This isn't really the best thing about LinkedIn. The industries are somewhat narrow. They're getting better. But you could pick something that's close to what you want. If you don't see it exactly, so there's no, let's see if they have it in here. So there's no industry that says social media. So that would fall under marketing and advertising, but Jay, I really want to do social media. Okay, but under marketing and advertising, that's where people who are searching, recruiters for those companies, that's where they would look. So you pick an industry that matches as close as possible to where you want to go and what you want to do. If you want to add more content in here, you can. That's something that's up to you. But again, all the discard, everything starts with the pencil here. Now, the next, after this branding piece of your headline, the next most important piece of your professional brand is your about section. So think of this as your, you see more, there we go. Think of this as your elevator pitch and your intro to kind of get to people to know you a little bit. So again, you have a professional headshot, you've got a cool background photo that says something about your personality or an interest. Your headline's engaging. I know what you're interested in or what you're studying and what you want to do or aspire to. And then the about section is your just, hey, here's a little bit more about me. So tell your story. I'm a big fan of being concise. So be a really ruthless editor. Like write as much as you want and then go back in and say it in as few words as you can. So I've seen profiles where people, I mean, there are like 6 gigantic paragraphs here. No one's going to read through that. So I'm a big fan of being concise, small bite-sized paragraphs. I talk about my story as briefly as I can, what I love to do, a little bit about me outside of work, and I'm a big fan of quotes. I also love music. So again, this is about me. It's my story. So for you, what are you looking for? What are some of your strengths? What are some of your interests? Like what motivates you? Like tell a little bit of your story here. The other thing that I do, and it's really important for all of you throughout your profile, is the use of keywords. So recruiters are looking for specific skill sets, and every industry has its own jargon and professional keywords. So if you have a standard LinkedIn profile and you want to go into, let's say, graphic design or game design or development, and you never mention like the Adobe Creative Cloud or some sound software, or you never talk about the Unreal Engine or C# and C++, programming languages. So you have to have those keywords throughout your document. Really important for you to be found by recruiters who are looking for you. And then I'm just kind of open, like, hey, if you want to contact me, there's my email. If you're in sales, I know a lot of salespeople will put their phone number right in their profile. Like, hey, call me, let's talk. One of my former students is working for the Red Sox. Phone number's right there. So, but that's what she does. That's her job. So again, just a quick recap. When you get to your profile, immediate impact. Background photo, good professional headshot, your headline, kind of, again, this is your first branding opportunity really within the site that people get to know a little bit more about you, and then your about section. That's where you can kind of expand and tell your story a little bit more. So this is kind of the intro. This whole section is the intro, so that's why it's really important. Questions about that before we move on to the next thing? Okay, awesome. So you can write and put articles on LinkedIn. I haven't written an article in a couple of years, but these are articles I posted, and it helps increase your professional brand. It helps people look at your expertise and like, oh, I'm interested in this person. So I think it was about 2 years ago now, I got contacted by somebody at a school in New York who said, hey, Jay, we have this really cool position at our career center. We're wondering if you're interested. And I said, I'd just been at SNHU for a couple of years. I said, thank you, but no thank you. But again, because I had a good profile and it was complete, and it had all the right industry keywords that somebody in a career center would find me, that's what recruiters do. So if you have a good detailed profile, people will reach out to you, people will find you. So that's why you want to post articles, you can. And Jay, well, what should I write about? Write about what you know. So I write about stuff I know with work, so you could write that stuff here, and then people will read it, they'll comment on it, a good thing for you. So you all have this dashboard thing here. LinkedIn is for you to see and be seen. So it's really important that, again, you have a good profile and that you use the site and go look for people. Your activity is tracked here. So I commented on a couple of articles. One of my colleagues, Shanita, just published a book. I didn't know that. Like, that's awesome. So again, use the site like you would any other form of social media, because there's kind of guardrails on it. It's really all about your professional life. And that's what makes it unique. It's not Facebook. It's not your camping trip. It's not about your family. It's about your professional life, and people share these things that are related to their work. So again, your activity is here. The next big section is your experience section. So now we're getting into kind of that resume stuff. So if you have a really strong resume, I encourage you to copy and paste your bullet points here. And again, use a lot of keywords, highlight your skills. So keyword phrase, develop relationships, collaborate, coach students, so using good verbs, transferable skills, that's what you want to do. The other really important thing that sets LinkedIn apart from your resume is you can add media. So I could go in here and I could post a video from a career fair. I could put a link to a PowerPoint presentation. So I've just got a couple pictures. Moment of silence for the way it used to be. So, this is just, here's a program I did, some really wonderful people in Monadnock Hall. A quote, which I think is really true and brilliant. I think I actually might write more about this one day, but it really kind of resonated with me. So again, you can't do this on your resume. So, put some media up here, make it a little more interesting and dynamic. And especially if any of you are in the social media realm or you want to go into marketing, this is like an advertisement for your marketing chops and your social media skills, because you're writing content, good copy, and you can add all sorts of media in here, like pictures and stuff. So let's go back to the top, after the big branding opening and your headline and that kind of expanded elevator pitch with your about section where you tell your story, really the next big feature on everyone's profile is going to be your experience. So don't shortchange yourself. I've worked with a lot of students who work at, Dunkin' Donuts, or they work at Hannaford or Market Basket. Before you get your first internship, that's what everybody does. So if you work in those jobs, just talk about your transferable skills and build it up. And then your education is next. So again, let's go into the
Jay,
pencils.
quick question for you.
Sure.
So a question around project demonstration, adding that as a feature, and if that's a good idea, what more can be added when you're working and you're not currently a student?
So you can go up after the education. Let's go back up to the top of your profile, this thing called Add Profile section. So when you click on the drop down, again, we've been through the intro, been through about, and then we get into the background. You have work experience, your education, licenses and certifications. So if some of you have certs for certain professional skills or you're licensed, you would list that under that unique section. People like to see folks who volunteer, but then if you go down to accomplishments, so here's where we talk more in detail about, have you been published? Do you have any patents? Actually, I know a few former alumni who do, which is pretty cool. Courses, related courses you've taken. Okay, what projects have you been involved with? So I click projects. Here's the name. Here's kind of the beginning and the ending associated with kind of what job in your profile connected to something. Do you have a link to it? Do you want to point people to a URL or a website or a portfolio and then describe it? So, again, how do we get there? Let's just kind of get up here. Here we go. Discard. So again, the add profile section will get you to this kind of drop-down tree. And under the accomplishments section, that's where you can really expand on some of your qualifications and some of your highlights. So if some of you speak more than one language, click on the languages section. Then it's going to ask you to talk about the proficiency. So again, LinkedIn is way deeper than your resume, and all of these kind of sections will help highlight your skills. Questions about kind of the drop down and the add profile section. This is a key to kind of just get you to different parts of your profile, but you would start up here. Any questions about how to add those things? And yes, projects, if you've got current projects, if you're doing some freelance work, again, anything to show that you're currently engaged in an industry that you love and care about. You might not be working in it right now, or you're in one industry and you want to transition and shift to another. Show that you're making that move by whatever projects or freelance work or even volunteer experience that you're putting out there. All relevant stuff. Okay, I want to scroll down back to education. So again, here, if you go into the edit feature, you can add your activities, things you were involved with. What was your education about? What was the focus? So you can talk about those things. Do you want to add a link to a video or pictures, whatever it may be, you can do that. A note about when you update your profile, you can click the share with your network, and then as you make changes to your profile, everyone in your network, people you're connected to, will know. So I have it off for me, but as you update or you want people to know about a certain accomplishment or an achievement, you could either post it as a comment, which would be ideal, or you can update your profile and just share it with your network. Entirely up to you. So the next most important section, we've talked about the headline, your about section, the importance of keywords. So recruiters have like a recruiter-powered platform on LinkedIn. There's a special product, I guess, if you will, that recruiters use to find talent. One of their key ways to filter out talent really quick and find people related to what they need is the skills section. So you get to populate all these skills. You get to pick them. So this is the stuff that I've had on my profile. Some of these things I didn't put here. People have endorsed me for the skill. That's why you see the numbers. And I can move stuff around if I want to. So if you want the best stuff, the stuff you're endorsed for most at the top. And then you can kind of order things as you see fit. So if you want to go to add a new skill, so here's where you can kind of pin things. So this is, I think this was taken from, I don't know, Instagram or something, but this was a feature where you can pin your skills that you want to be found for. So I can move these things up if I want to. I can also delete them. So, but you can add anything you want on your profile. It's entirely up to you. You get to pick a skill. So if I do add new skill, notice based on the content of my profile, LinkedIn's AI is going to suggest stuff for me. So if you have it, like some people, like Ali's question was, oh, I have a standard profile. So if you just have a generic profile and it doesn't have a lot of great keywords or a lot of specific information, LinkedIn will populate your skills based off your jobs. So whatever content it can see, that's how it's going to populate. So based on what I've shared and how I use the site, this is what it's suggesting for me. But I could pick, I've seen students put all sorts of working efficiently. Like you could add working efficiently as a skill. I would encourage you to use some of the stuff that LinkedIn suggests to you and start there. But for the basic stuff, all your customer service skills, time management, other transferable skills like communication, written communication, report writing, whatever it may be. But again, if you have a technical skill, if you're an accountant, Excel should be in there. If you're an engineer, MATLAB or Pro-E should be in there. So make sure the skills that you're listing are related to kind of where you are and what you're studying, and more importantly, the industry that you want to go into. So it's not enough just to write like management, like just put something detailed in there as far as a specific skill set. Let me real quick go search one of my former students. So go to Josh. So Josh, right away, like you see code, like great use of a background shot. kind of an arty photo, it's kind of cool, but that's Josh. Game programming development major looking for a summer 2021 internship. Boom, I know what he's looking for. So when you get down through his profile here, he talks about his experience. But if you look at his skills, the stuff that's listed first that he pinned up here are pretty much hardcore technical skills. And then he gets into the technologies. So that's a really good use of your skills section. So again, these are all that industry related jargon. These are the skills they're looking for. So if any of you are going into social media, you might want to put like Google Analytics. You might want to put like, copywriting. You might want to just put social media, marketing campaigns, marketing plans, different things, again, related to that industry that are specific skill sets. So I just wanted to show you a different profile with Josh. So that's really the personal branding piece. I think what's most important is that before you reach out to people, alumni especially, and recruiters even more so, make sure your profile tells the story you want it to tell. Make sure it has good content. Show you another, Sarah. So this is one of
another question, Jay, when you have a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So somebody is working as a consultant for a company on a specific project, but previously 6 months ago had an internship with them. Do you recommend adding the consulting project as a professional experience or a project within the company?
Was the consulting project part of the internship or a separate experience?
No. Separate.
Separate experience.
Yeah.
I would put it, it was 6 months. The project lasted that long. I would put that as an experience, like as a work experience. If it lasted that long and the person can talk about it like they would on a resume with a couple good bullet points, absolutely, feature it. So again, another student, she's a graphic designer, also a little bit of a, Renaissance woman, does a lot of different things. And you can see here's kind of what she's doing, like all the kind of customer service stuff. And then right away, like boom, Adobe, like all the stuff that she needs and all the industry related stuff. So again, get specific. Like again, you put like work effectively, creative work, hand drawing, which is kind of cool for her industry. But this is another example of a fully realized profile. There's some good content here. Again, eye-catching background. What's cooler is that she designed that. So again, if you've got stuff that is yours, it helps you stand out even more. The other thing I do want to point out, recruiters at companies, if you follow the company, they can tell that. That's a good thing. If you're connected to people at their company, they can tell that. That's a good thing. So if you want to work for Oakley, she's also, Sarah's a big bicycle fan, so she's following Trek. So I'll just click on Trek. So you can look at this company and you want to follow the company. So I'm going to add them. And then immediately all the algorithms, Jay, you want to follow all these other companies. So I might be a designer. I could be an enthusiast. Again, it's become so much like Facebook. It's kind of ridiculous. But what's cool is, this one cracks me up. So I was an English language major. Jay, 7 employees studied the English language, also work here. Like how cool is that? English majors are employable. It's kind of funny. So here is people from my alma mater that work there. And, you can kind of find these people at the company. So how about this? So here's a recruiter at Trek. I found a recruiter. I can reach out to her. So here's a human resources coordinator. So quick tip. If I click connect, it's just going to send the connection request and not give me a chance to send a personal note. So if I click on the profile, we're waiting, okay. So boom, so this is a human resources person through and through. Here's my company, here's all my people out front, we're a great place to work, we're awesome, you want to come work for us. This is like such a recruiter's profile. Look at this, like about sprinkling razzle dazzle everywhere I go and never dedicating a day to watching the clock. come check us out. So super good personal branding kind of stuff. Let me show you our company. There's a video. You can kind of see her kind of moving up the line from all these other different kinds of roles she's had. Skills and endorsements. Again, for some of you who want to go into human resources, if you're a human resources major, as a skill, just say human resources. Just claim it, because that's a keyword in the skill people will look for. But again, a great marketing, great branding profile kind of thing. So I'm going to shift into the outreach piece, Allie, unless there's other questions about branding on your own profile.
I would say you can shift, and if anybody has questions, just put them in the chat, and
Yes.
I will let you know if we have any, Jay.
Okay, thank you. So if you have a good profile, you think you're telling your story the way you want it to be out there, and you're not just, here's where I am now, but you're giving people an idea of where you want to be. So I might be studying this, or I might be a recent alum who just graduated a year ago, but I'm looking to do this. So you want that narrative, that story to be reflected in your profile. If you're feeling good about it, you've got good keywords, you've got good skills, you've got some good media, some pictures in there, some links, excellent. So now go out and look for companies and connect to companies where you want to work. So like I said, recruiters can tell what your activity is on certain aspects of LinkedIn. So if you follow their company, they'll see that. If you're connected to people at their company, they'll see that too. And all those things are pluses for your candidacy if you want to apply there, because they could just reach out. Oh, Ali, I see that you know Bob or Renee or whoever. Looks like they're applying for this job. What can you tell me about them? So your HR person will just ask somebody in the company, oh, can you just tell me a little bit more before I reach out? So knowing people or connecting to people at companies you want to be at is important. So right here, Larissa is a third-degree connection to me. So I'll back up in a second, but so she is a friend of a friend of a friend. So there's 3 people between me and Larissa. So if I click message, all right, actually I don't want to do that, because this is a premium feature. For those of us who are, let's say we're using a free account, wow, third degree, I don't have this. I can't click on that. If you click on the more button, look what comes back, the connect button. So what you want to do, like you click on connect, you can add a note, and then you always add a note. And say, hi, Larissa, and I'll just do quick hi. So I don't want to just leave it hanging, and just going to reach out, professional branding, and found your profile. It's a great example. No fear, folks. Just send the message. So the worst thing that can happen is that people won't get back to you. It's the worst thing. Sun comes up the next day, not a big deal. Larissa is a recruiter. She's here to be found. You could save her a lot of trouble if you like her company. Hi, Larissa. I really want to work for Trek. You look a great organization. I love to bike. I've been using your products for 10 years. Awesome opening. Just go for it. You have nothing to lose. So again, getting back to the branding piece, but the outreach piece. So this young man, Jay Jenkins, I worked with him when he was an undergrad. He graduated in May. He does work for the Indy Fuel, but of course the pandemic derailed all professional sports. But Jay is a student who in less than, I think, 3 years, he's got over like 1,500 contacts in 3 years. So he took the kind of that mantra to go connect to everybody, like to the nth degree. And since Jay and I are first degree friends, let's show you this again. So you're going to see 3 numbers when you're on LinkedIn. You'll see a first, a second, and a third. The first degree connection means Jay and I are like Facebook friends. So I can click on message. Hey, Jay, how's it going? And I could just like get right in touch with them. Easy. he's a second degree connection, he's a friend of a friend, the connect button will be here. If he's a third degree connection like Larissa, I can still find the connect button, but I don't know that person at all. So what I want to say about Jay is, because we're first degree connections, and here's the important part for all of you. Let's say you all connect to somebody who's got like 1,000 or 2,000 connections. The cool thing is, when you're first degree connections, you can see all of your friends' connections. So how cool is that? So you can go in and then search for people. So now, Jay's goal is to be a GM for a hockey team. It will happen. I'm confident with his motivation. So Richard Seeley is the GM at the Ontario Reign. So professional hockey. So he's a general manager of a hockey team. Looks like their logo, they're affiliated with the LA Kings. They're out in California. So Jay is connected to a GM of a hockey club. He just graduated college. He just reaches out to people and says, hey, you're working in the industry I love. I want to know more about it. Can I get a few minutes of your time to ask you some questions and do an informational interview? He's been doing that since I met him freshman year. So he got an internship through somebody he reached out to at the Manchester Monarchs, which are no more. And that contact led to an internship. The internship led to the coach contacting Jay after the team folded and asking him to come out to work for the Indy Fuel. But it all started when he got on LinkedIn and started building his profile and just literally sending out connection requests. So again, when you reach out to more people, so numbers matter. If you have 10 connections, you're just not leveraging LinkedIn. So the more people you know and are connected to, the better. So go back one more step here. So the important thing about having a good profile, Jay's profile is concise, it's to the point, it screams hockey. Like, this is what he wants to do. And you can see all the experience that he's had. He's got some, video in here, worked at the Chandler Center for many years, was super involved on campus, just a great all-around student, and that stuff's featured here. Again, good use of media. You can see he worked for the Monarchs for almost 2 years as an undergrad. So again, I use Jay's profile because it's, and Sarah's, who I showed earlier, these are just really good examples of personal branding. Right? Now, as far as searching goes, the best people to reach out to, if you type in Southern New, our school comes up. So this is a really key point for all of you to expand your network. So what I'm going to show you is the easiest way beyond your own family and friends to expand your network quickly. So here we are. This is SNHU's LinkedIn page. Ridiculous. We've got 160,000 alumni. I've been here less than 5 years. I don't know. We had not even half that 5 years ago. It's getting kind of crazy. The cool thing is, all of you are part of the SNHU community. So if you're a student, if you're a recent grad and a young alumna or alumni, it doesn't matter, you're part of the community. So what you want to do, go to our page, just type Southern New Hampshire University, and then click on alumni. And now here's where the power of filters is really important. So let's say you want to work for, I don't know, let's throw out New Balance, sneaker company. All right, so I went from 160,000 alums to 4,000, but I can see, okay, where do they live, first off? Where do they work? So I've got alumni who at some point worked for New Balance, but now are back at SNHU. But now this is what I want. I want the 28 people who are currently at New Balance. All right, so now if I scroll down, these are all people I can reach out to and connect with. If you want to get a little more granular, you could type in doesn't look like it gave me anyone specific. You could type in recruiter, you could type in talent acquisition, you could type in human resources. Let's try HR. Okay. Nope, still giving me mostly the same people. Okay, cool. But again, you're looking at people who work at a company where you want to be. So what's really cool is like, oh, here's people in apparel. Here's a product developer. Okay, so this is what's cool about LinkedIn that you can't get on Indeed.com and you can't get on other sites. Like, okay, apparently Tara and I share 4 connections. So I want to know who these people are. So I'm going to click on Tara's profile. Okay, so again, I worked at UNH for many years. A lot of these folks are related to kind of UNH. So I could reach out and say, hey, can you introduce me to so-and-so? Because I see that you're connected. I want to reach out to her and ask her some questions. So that's one way to do outreach. Or again, you could just go to the connect button, introduce yourself to Tara. Hi, Tara. I'm a really big fan of New Balance. I'm a fashion major at SNHU. I'm in the business program. I want to learn more about, marketing and merchandising and kind of what that's like at your company. You have my dream job, whatever it may be. I'd love to get a few minutes of your time to ask you some questions. Thanks so much, sincerely, and then sign your name and done. So that's what you do when you do the add a note thing. So you've got 300 words. What I just recited easily fits in here, and then you send it away. Okay, so what we're doing here on LinkedIn, you could just go to the job section and apply to a job, but you're missing out on all the networking part of LinkedIn. That's what makes LinkedIn so unique. So if you can leverage our alumni, and let's just scroll down, there you go. Graduated from undergrad 2007. Hey, Tara, love to get to talk to you. Have you been back to campus? It's awesome. Well, we're in a pandemic, right? So, there's different, you could be fun, put a little bit of your personality in here, but basic psychology 101, if you're polite and courteous and you ask people for advice and guidance, 9 times out of 10, if things are going good for them and they're not too crazy busy, they'll get back to you. So that kid, Jay Jenkins, I showed you, he went from 0 to like 1,200 or 1,500 connections in a couple of years because every week he sent out like 10 connection requests. How do I know? Because I asked him, I go, so what do you do? I send about 10 a week. How many people get back to you? I asked him. He said like 3. So if you get 3 contacts over the course of a year, it just keeps snowballing. So if there's an industry you want to work at or a company you want to be at, go look for people and go look for those companies. But where do you start? The best place to start is with our alumni. So go to SNHU's page on LinkedIn. If you're not already following us, you should be. Click on alumni, and then you've got access to 160,000 of your people. These are what are like our warm leads. It's an easy ask for most people. I don't feel comfortable, I wouldn't contact somebody necessarily not from my alma mater. I know I can reach out to people and we have a common experience, a shared experience. I could talk about my undergrad. I could talk about my grad program, whatever it may be. So it's an easy ask. So use the filters. And again, what's cool is where do they live? You can see like cities. Where do people work? We have a ton of alumni at Fidelity Investments in Boston and Merrimack. We've got a lot of folks at Liberty, Amazon. So this is where our alumni are. These are world-class companies. But if you want more data, so what do they do? What are their jobs? What do they study? Again, really rich content. So another thing that I like about LinkedIn is I do a lot of research here too. So I can learn about people. Hey, there's my buddy Andy Doyle. See, I know Andy, I'm just going to send him a connection request. I'm just going to send it. He'll be like, Jay, what are you doing? Professor Gassman, there's Monique. So these are all these people that I know and work with. So use the alumni feature. Again, go back up to, the search field, type in Southern New, our school will come up. Scroll down to alumni, and then start using the filters. I would start with a company. So if you want to work at Target, if you want to work at, Enterprise, whatever it may be, so do those things. So let's talk about companies now. So if I went to Enterprise, there's Enterprise, big recruiter at SNHU. So the cool thing is oh, Jay, now it says chat with all these other people you know. So it prompts you to do that. So I've known Kimberly for almost 15 years. She's a great recruiter and supporter of our school and our students. Anthony, I know he worked in, he was at admissions. Alex is a former student. Justin's a former student. So you can just reach out to people like, hey, Christine, what's it like working at Target? Rachel, what's it like working at Target? Excuse me, Enterprise, mixing the companies up. But that's where you start. Like, you don't even have to apply. Just do some research, get like some real feedback. So this is networking. This is why you do this. All right, so companies. So I've talked about professional branding. We've talked about the easiest way to expand your network is to look for alumni. So go to the SNHU alumni page and start connecting to people. Now, for jobs, this format should look familiar to you if you're on SNHU Handshake, if you've been on Indeed.com, it's the same format. Type in a skill, a title, or a company, and a location. Same format, pretty much probably the same algorithm. So notice I search for a lot of different things. If I typed in, I work with students all the time. So I typed in marketing intern for New Hampshire. So we're in kind of a lull. We're coming up on the holiday season. Most internship and job hiring happens in May when grads are coming out, and also the start of the year when people's searches are picking up in September. So what's cool is, okay, here's a 2021 internship. We're not even in November, and we have a 2021 internship. This is the cycle. This is how things work. So you have Lindt, the chocolate company, and then you've got a construction firm in Rye, New Hampshire. How cool is that? So you've got a global organization that's based here, and then you've got a small firm that's looking for people. So you could click on things, and then, okay, you know what? That looks pretty cool. Here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to save this. And then it's saved in your jobs. Now, what's really interesting is the more you use LinkedIn, like I said, the more you like, post, and share other people's content, the more you post your own content, the more you reach out to people, the more rich your keywords and skills are on your own profile, the more you use the job feature, LinkedIn will feed you posts. It will send you jobs. It'll suggest, Jay, these are people you should reach out to. So there's so much, it's not even AI, it's just algorithms. It's how eBay runs. It's how Facebook and Amazon run. So if you use the site, it will suggest things based on your search results and how you use it. So that's what I mean. Like, you can't just have a profile and let it sit there and expect LinkedIn to magically send you jobs. So, okay, I'm going to look at some of these jobs. I'll save some. I'll apply for some. Now, you shift back into the profile piece. For all of you, if you're on LinkedIn, if you want to go to your settings and privacy, it'll show you your job seeking preferences. So you can change a couple things and make it really easy for employers. Like, you apply to a job, like that, a save and apply button. If I clicked on, my profile would go right to the company as well. Like, their recruiter would see it. I'm not looking, so that's off for me. It even goes to commuting preferences. What's your local address? What's your form of transportation? How far are you willing to commute? 15 minutes or less, if you could barely see that, is not going to help you. I know a lot of students like, well, Jay, I really want a 15-minute drive. That's awesome. But a lot of us commute 30, 40 to an hour to get to work. So again, well, why would I want to do this, Jay? What it does, it gives recruiters more info to see if you're the right person. So if they don't have to waste time and they can quickly see, oh, this person's here, this is their industry, this is their location, that's all good stuff. Now, you can do this as well. So you can signal your interest to companies that you've created job alerts for. So under the job section, you can actually create alerts for companies. So that means whenever they post, it'll go to your email. Hey, Jay, New Balance just posted a new job. But again, you need to set this stuff up in your settings and privacy section. I'll go back to that to show you. So you go to your profile, go to settings and privacy, and job preferences, and that's where you'd want to put that stuff in. So these are just little simple ways for you to kind of raise your hand to recruiters. So again, basic stuff. If you want to work at a company, follow the company. Like their content, like comment on stuff they post, watch their videos, share their content, all good. Find people at that company and connect to them. Easiest people to connect to, our alumni. Go find people who are alums at these companies, send them a brief connection request, and start a conversation. Hey, I see that you work at like Medicus. I heard they're an awesome company. What's it like working there? Can you tell me a little bit about it? And again, people will get back to you. So LinkedIn will help you expand your network. It's just going to put you out there to more people. So make use of the site, and I think you'll find that it will give you, it's like having your own kind of like recruiter working for you. Like the more you use it, the more content will be driven to your own email address that will help you find opportunities. We'll close out with this last story. A former student of mine came to talk to me 3 years ago. Total transition change, going from nonprofit world, wanted to get into UI, UX, user experience, user interface stuff, taught herself all these skills, helped her build up her LinkedIn profile, and then a recruiter reached out to her based on her profile. And she got the job working for Fresenius Healthcare, doing their UI, UX for a couple of years. Another friend of mine was looking for training jobs, like professional development jobs, wanted to get out of teaching. Based on the stuff that she was looking at, LinkedIn sent her jobs for all these companies. One of the companies, world-class company, snowball's chance in heck. She applied, she got the interview, she got the job, but it all started because of her viewing habits on LinkedIn. It sent her those alerts, and that's how she heard about the company. So really important to use the resource as it is, get involved on it, kind of like, post, or share daily. If you don't have the app, I would recommend you load the app on your phone. Super fun. You see that's a good user experience. It's a great app, actually. So you can actually do video chats on LinkedIn's app. It's really, really useful. So make use of the profile. Again, step one, good professional brand. Like, tell your story. Don't let someone else tell it. Tell your story. Use some media, some pictures, some images. Be engaging and talk about where you want to be, not just where you are. And then follow companies, follow and connect to people at those companies, and start applying to jobs. If you do all that stuff, there's no guarantees, but I do guarantee you, if you do none of that, it's going to take you longer to find a job. So that's my kind of soapbox. Allie, I don't know if there's questions or anything.
Yeah, that was great, Jay. Thank you so much. I just wanted to open it up to the floor and see if anybody had any lingering questions before we wrap up. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or write in the chat. Just give it a minute and see.
Okay.
Allison, where will we find the recording for this if we want to go back and watch it later on?
So I will be processing it, and since we just wrapped up with homecoming, it may take a little bit to get everything set up, but it will be on the Young Alumni website on our alumni page, and I will also send it to everybody who was either here tonight or not able to make it. So you should get an email with that link as soon as we process it. But thanks for that question, Ryan. Any other questions from folks? Awesome. Well, yes, there is a place to chat with alumni. There is a LinkedIn community on LinkedIn. So if you just look up, let me see if I can actually just pull the direct link for everybody.
That's a really good question and a great community to be a part of. Absolutely.
So it is called, oh my gosh, I think it's new community, SNHU community, but I will just post it in the chat really quickly. If you wanted to join that group. We post different events that are happening, and everyone, is pretty friendly and willing to connect. Similar to how Jay showed you the other way of finding alumni, I would say there are also almost 10,000 specific alumni members in this group. And so definitely join it if you aren't joining it already. And I would just say, if you are interested in other events or have suggestions for future events, please reach out. My email is going to be in the chat in 1 second. And so we're always looking for events for the Young Alumni programs or our virtual programs. Since we'll be in this space for I don't know how long, we would love to engage with you. If you have something fun that you do on the side that you want to highlight too, I'd love to chat more about that. But thank you again to Jay for being here and sharing your knowledge with us. I have a to-do list of all of my LinkedIn things that I need to do. And so I'm excited for this nudge and push to make sure my profile is the best that it can be. So thank you again, Jay. If you wanted to include your email address too, just so folks can reach out if they have any other questions, that would be awesome.
I'm not a good typer, so I'm trying to do that right now. All right, so thank you all for attending. I know there's a lot of stuff you could be doing on a Monday night that's probably way more exciting than this. My email address, if anyone has questions, please reach out to me. Happy to chat and talk about networking and LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, folks.